Good morning, Team Redstone. Happy Thursday to everybody out there. Appreciate you joining us this morning. As always, we will take your questions at the end of this. Sergeant Major, good morning.
Good morning, sir, and good morning to everybody out there.
Hey, just a personal note, I always feel a little empty after a major sporting event. So although my wife is thrilled that March Madness is over, I am not so thrilled. So I really got used to some good college basketball, and if you're a Baylor Bear fan, congratulations, well done. You guys had a great run this year. My Wolverines and also the Crimson Tide had a pretty good run this year for basketball. So well done to everybody, and yes, honey, you can have the remote back to the TV now. Hey, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about this morning, and we have a couple of guests, as always. We have Colonel Cardenas this morning from Fox Health, and we also have Ron Thomas, my Director of Operations, here to talk about some gate changes. So if you have any questions about gates or COVID vaccines, by all means, hopefully we'll address them. And if not, we'll answer your questions at the end, as always. Again, we've seen some really good progress as COVID in our 16 counties around the area. We always track those 16 counties on a daily basis to see the COVID numbers of positive cases, and we've seen a steady decrease since after Christmas, and so we continue to track that and to make sure we're doing the right thing and opening up services as we see fit, and making sure that we're maintaining safety and security on the arsenal for all the residents. So in that 16 counties, again, we've seen the decrease, so we've absolutely opened up some things, and we've gone to HPCOM Bravo, as you're probably well aware. In HPCOM Bravo, what we have said to the tenants is we are now able to support between 40 and 80% of your workforce coming back if you deem necessary. Again, this is tenant driven. We are not telling them to do anything. We are just telling them we can support between 40 and 80% on the arsenal now. We have taken a lot of questions about the travel restrictions as far as travel in and out of Redstone Arsenal. Just realize there are absolutely no issues with travel on the arsenal as far as people coming TDY or you going TDY. We are making sure the DoD is reflective of that, and we will continue to press them until they absolutely understand what conditions we are in. If there are any questions about that at all, please get with your chain of command and come to me, and we will absolutely clarify anything that is needed as far as travel, TDY, between coming into RSA and going out of RSA. With that, I know there are a lot of questions about COVID vaccine, so I'm absolutely going to, at this point, turn it over to Colonel Cardenas at Fox Army Health Commander. Good morning, Bob.
Thanks, Glenn. Good morning, Team Redstone. It's good to be back in 2 consecutive town halls. So it's glad to be here. So first, I know that there's some decisions are going to be made. It's not just the locally state government, but also federal. With the President of the United States, with the vaccine availability age-wise. Just remember that, again, as we've always had 2 prioritization schemes, Department of Defense and CDC for the public. We still are required to follow the DoD, Department of Defense prioritization schemes, and we do expect modifications. We are, like I said the last time, we are on our 4th modification of the scheme in 4 months since the first one was released in early December. Just a reminder that we are a Moderna-approved site, so regardless of the age decisions, the vaccines that we have is for 18 years and above, so we will not go below that unless something changes in the strategic medical laboratory guidance. I am mindful, though, that Pfizer and Moderna are into their studies, and they're for adolescents, and they're going down as far as 8 years old for the effectiveness of those cohort groups and those tests, so there'll be more to follow on that. And I'm sure the Department of Defense and the Defense Health Agency and the Medical Command guidance will follow suit once approved. So not that it was planned this way, but it was we're in line with the Garrison with some changes and some updates to our protocols. So effective 12 April, which is Monday next week, we will not be doing screening for entry into Fox. The temperatures are the questions. We ask you to ask yourself those questions just like you do if you're going to work and you follow your local unit leaves sick call policy letters, for example. It's still going to be one entrance, the main entrance on the south side, as everybody knows, also where the big parking lot is, as well as face masks will be enforced. So please make sure that's part of your packing list, as it has been probably for the past year, just like your ID or your wallet or your purse. Make sure you have a mask. We will enforce that, not shields. And if it becomes a challenge, then you may lose your appointment. We definitely don't want to do that. Okay, so please make sure you bring your mask. What that's going to allow us to do is those folks that were screening for the past year almost, they were servicing other departments outside of the primary care. So that means you will see increases in appointment availability for services like behavioral health, the pharmacy, optometry, physical therapy, because those were the staff that were cycling through and rotating, as well as other support staff to the hospital in the staff sections. Again, we asked for your patience. I talked about it last time. We are in the process of trying to hire 2 providers. So that means about 2,000 enrolled patients have been spread out amongst the other remaining 10. And unfortunately, that just means there's no more hours in the day. So we're just going to try to manage that and look at our templates for appointments and try to ensure that access until we get those providers back. Again, those are decisions they made, and we wish them well. And the vaccinations, the thing that I want to mention there is we're doing a good job. We're at about 60 to 40% split. 60% are the tiers, the DoD tiers, 1 Alpha, 1 Bravo, 1 Charlie, Mission Essential, and then 40% have been about, so far that we've received, administered, or been with the high-risk beneficiary population. So I think we're doing very well compared to a lot of other installations where they kind of went more straight military green suit, just because they were easily accessible in the beginning with the vaccines being shipped. And with a smaller active duty population, we went to phases, back then 1 Bravo and now 1 Charlie after they've been redefined. We went there a lot sooner. And that's why we had a system off the shelf that we created and had to improve. So we thank you for your patience with that, because it had to get approved by the Army to make sure your safety and your information was safeguarded. So I know there'll be some questions about that. So in the meantime, as we'll let that populate, I'll turn it back over to the Garrison commander.
Thanks, Colonel Cardina. Absolutely appreciate all the information you always give us, and appreciate your support at Fox Health every day. Outstanding support from you guys as always, so thank you for that. Hey, just wanted to talk a little bit about Governor Ivey yesterday announced that the safer at home order will be lifted, and that will become effective tomorrow at 5 p.m., I believe. And now she is going to institute the safer apart order, and that will be effective from basically tomorrow until 5 May. And so if you want to have any questions about that, please reach out to us. We can absolutely pass that information along, or absolutely Google Alabama government to find out more information about safer apart order. There's a lot of questions about our gate changes, and I just kind of wanted to segue into that, and I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Ron Thomas to talk about that and some cyclists we have coming on the base. Ron?
Hey, sir, thank you very much. Appreciate it. As promised, the Garrison would continue to evaluate and assess requirements or demands for our traffic flow in and out of the arsenal, and as folks are beginning to return back to Redstone, the time has come. So this should excite some folks. We will be reopening Gate 3 effective the 12th of April. Those times would be 0530 to 1300 if you're inbound. Right, well, we remain open till 1800, and we'll handle traffic inbound and outbound through the entire span of that time period, 0530 to 1800 or 6 p.m. If you're inbound, we'll gladly take care of you from 0530 to 1300. This goes back to pre-COVID. Our times have not shifted or changed or modified from that, so that should be comforting to those that live in that southeast area or eastern side and work on perhaps the southern end of the arsenal. And boy, wouldn't it be nice now to run out there and grab you a burger and be able to get back to work and not spend a lot of time in your travel. So we're excited to announce that. Additional information I would share with you on the gates is Gate 8. As you recall, Gate 8 typically was a 0530 to 2100 hour gate, and that's what we're returning back to. So Gate 8, 7 days a week, 0530 to 2100 hours, and that should be able to service all those folks. So if you plan on coming in after 2100, we'll have to turn back to Gate 9 as we've always done in the past, at least pre-COVID. So you can anticipate that Gate 9 is our 24-hour gate, and that returns us back to what we would consider normal operations at that point in time. No changes to Gates 1 and Gate 7 at this time. And for those of you that are hopeful or wishing about Gate 10, we don't have that demand yet, and we'll continue to assess, and we'll see where that takes us in the future. We have slides, I think, that are appearing, providing, or maybe they've already popped up and I missed them, with the gate hours. If not, we'll make sure that we know all your leadership has it, and we'll push it out in the Cub again, as well as any other PAO announcements that may need to be pushed out, but we'll make sure that all that's available to you. So the Colonel mentioned some bicyclists. So Huntsville City will be hosting the U.S. Paralympic Cycling event. This is going to be taking place in Cummings Research Park on the 17th and 18th of April. Well, how does that impact us? There's a veterans team that will be coming to Redstone Arsenal. They'll be staying here on the Arsenal, and they will be training here on the Arsenal. So there's a slide up that would show you the areas where we're going to kind of contain them. We would ask that as you travel through these particular areas, just west of Patton Road, north of Neal, kind of back in the Ajax, I think it's the old schoolhouse or old school community is what it was used to be referred to. We're going to have some cyclists back there. We've got two routes, one in green and one in blue. They're free to use either one. Those just gives them different measurement areas, a little bit different terrain. We do anticipate up to about 20 cyclists being out there. I don't anticipate all 20 at the same time. We're working closely with their team to make sure that we can ensure their safety as well as our safety. So just for the week of the 13th through the 16th, just take a little extra caution as you go through there. Keep an eye out for those low-profile racing type bicycles or cycles, mostly probably in the trike configuration. But please just be cautious about that. And sir, if I might, there's a question that came up, actually talking about cycles or bicycles. There's a question that came up about Trusted Traveler. So we talk Trusted Traveler with our AIE and our gates and our vehicle access. But a question came up is, can I use Trusted Traveler with my friend that wants to come and bicycle on the Arsenal? AR 190-13 speaks specifically to passengers in vehicles. And the Trusted Traveler has to be the driver of the vehicle. The other person has to be occupant in the same vehicle. I'm not here to argue whether a bicycle is considered a vehicle or not. What I can tell you is this. The Arsenal acknowledges and recognizes that we have friends that like to come out and ride safely on our Arsenal. We made this available to folks a little over a year and a half ago now. So if you're not aware of that, let me share this with you. If you have a friend who's not associated with the Arsenal and you anticipate coming out here and cycling, we ask that you go to the Visitor Control Center, right, Monday through Friday, normal hours of operations, and apply for a rec badge. That recreation badge will enable you to come out onto the Arsenal under your own authority or own power. You may not have to have your sponsored friend riding with you. That day that person just doesn't feel like riding with you. If you have this rec badge, you can actually come onto the Arsenal, take advantage of the roadways that we have here. It's a great place to ride, great safe environment. We do have rules during the week and weekend, so make sure you get our bicycle policy and brush up on that. If you're going to come out as a first-time rider to the Arsenal, we expect you to follow the bicycle policy. Understand when you go to the VCC or the Visitors Control Center, we'll get some information from you. We'll do a quick background check on you, and if everything checks out just fine, we'll be able to get you a recreation badge so you can come out and enjoy the day riding with a friend, a family, or independently by yourself out on the Arsenal. So, sir, it's probably been a while since we've been able to talk about that rec badge and our bicyclists in our community. I just wanted to share that with them, and subject to your question, sir, I think that's all I have.
Thanks, Ron. Appreciate all that information. Again, if you've got any questions at all, reach out to us. We can absolutely post that cyclist SOP that we have. It's a great opportunity for after hours and on weekends. If you want to come out and ride on the Arsenal, you're more than welcome to come out as our guest. Ron did touch on something. We will be vetting every single person that comes on the Arsenal for our safety and yours. Just realize that we check our database against Alabama federal law entities, and we will absolutely stop you if you have a warrant or other issue coming on the Arsenal that we would want to prevent, and we will do that. We are absolutely, our law enforcement officials are very good at our gates, and we will absolutely vet every single person that comes on the Arsenal for the safety of everybody. So thanks for the information, Ron. Appreciate that. I'm going to turn this over to Sergeant Major. I know Sergeant Major has some stuff to talk about, so please.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. And thank you guys for tuning in to our virtual town halls. We bring you some great information. Fox, our Department of Operations, and then our commander bringing you guys some good info. If you're tuning in for the first time or just arriving PCS into Redstone, welcome to the team. If you've been an ongoing or viewer, by all means, thank you for helping us out. Thank you for tuning in. I'd like to cover a couple things today. I'm going to cover some observances, some safety tips as we go into our summer season, and then some information from the exchange and DECA, and then close it out with some MWR. So some of the observances that we're going to be observing for the month of April is month of the military child, Earth Day on the 22nd, and Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month for the month of April. So we got some good things coming up. I'd like to talk about SHARP a little bit. We will be hosting a 5K run during the month of April. Tentatively at this time we're looking at it, and it's going to be the 28th of April. So save the date for that. And it will be during 6:30 hours. So come out and run. It looks like the parking lot of the exchange is what we're looking at conducting it at. So by all means, come and help us support the SHARP program. And sign up. There will be some virtual ability too as well. And if you don't run and you want to come out and walk it, we will have a 1 mile walk that you can come and participate in that as well. Contact Mr. Larry Gray, which is our SHARP coordinator, if you have any questions. Also, Earth Day theme for this year is Restore the Earth. Stay on the lookout for more information on Team Redstone's social media pages as we come up to Earth Day as well for some events. What I'd like to do now is go ahead and bring up a SHARP safety tip graphic and talk a little bit about safety as we lean into our summer months. What I'm asking everybody to do is just make sure that you're out there preparing. It's a little preparation as you lean into the summer months with not only your vehicle, but also other things that we can look at. And that's, if you're pulling out those grills and stuff like that, by all means, let's make sure we're good to go. The safety message that we wanted to post up, and you're probably seeing it now, it talks about driving and preparing to drive. We just want everybody to pay attention to the traffic laws, the speed limits that are out there. Make sure you're buckling up. Make sure you're ensuring that everybody or all the children in the vehicle are buckled up properly before you take on that trip, and make sure you get a good night's rest. A couple other things that I want to talk about is swimming as we come up with the summer months. Make sure that everything's set up, keeping your eye on young children as we get out to those pools. Also, be vigilant for children, be vigilant for animals out there as people are coming more outdoors, taking their walks or their runs. Obey the speed limits. That's what we really need you to do, and be on the lookout for more pedestrians out there and animals out there so that we don't get into any accidents. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the exchange and DECA. For the food court in the exchange, of course, we are having 50% occupancy in there now, and they're getting ready for a sidewalk sale along with DECA. So be on the lookout for information coming out on their web pages so they can talk a little bit about that as we bring more facilities back to you guys to enjoy. One of the MWR updates I'd like to talk about is, again, 50% of capacity in the MWR areas. The library is in full operation now, so please visit the library and get out there. Like they say, vote with your feet, so that way you can enjoy the library on our installation. The Auto Detail Center is also open, so by all means, I know today's a little bit rough with the weather out there, but by all means, get out there and sign up for an appointment to get your vehicle clean once the weather clears up. Outdoor Recreation is having classes for the trap and skeet range, and also check out their website for up-and-coming boat rentals and camper rentals as well. Sign up now, as they are getting filled up and people are getting out there and reserving those to utilize. Another thing I want to touch was the CDCs and the youth center. The youth center, for everybody's information, is now open. Please sign up. It's taking grades 6 through 12 graders. It's open from starting at 1 p.m. and it's free for the open rec area. Also looking at summer camp beginning June 1st. So a lot of good things with the youth center. Events conducted at the youth center are swimming, bowling, hiking, archery, water parks. Those types of things are out there for our youth. So by all means, explore that youth center and get your children signed up for that. Questions on the youth center, by all means, call 876-5437 so you can find out some more information on the youth center. They wanted to talk to me about the CDCs. So for the CDC, current enrolled patrons on the 12th of April can start making reservations or calling, so that if you are a teleworker, they're going to start to open up 26th of April to bring in your kids again. So again, 12 April, you can call in if you're currently enrolled to set your kid up, and 26th of April, they will start to begin taking your children. Other than that, sir, that's all I got right now. Passing it back over to you.
Yeah, appreciate the information on the CDC. That's a question we always get from a lot of people. With situational telework, what it allowed you to do was, as a parent, you were able to work from home and also being able to take care of your kid. That was the definition of the DoD situational telework. Right now, the DoD situational telework schedule is scheduled to end the end of June. Unless something changes, that's when situational telework will end. Now, we don't know what's going to happen between now and then, so we are probably predicting that it will be extended, or DoD will look at it from the perspective of how we've worked for the last year, and if telework will continue in some means or manner. But just realize that we, from the Garrison perspective, are kind of leaning forward, and we kind of would like to see our CDCs open up a little bit for situational telework right now, and for any kind of telework that will happen in the future. So that's why Sergeant Major announced that, and that's what we're looking at doing. So we appreciate you guys' patience as we've tried to keep the kids and our staff at the CDCs as safe as possible. But we think that with the COVID numbers the way they are, that we are probably able to open this up to a few more children now. And so we appreciate your patience as we've gone through this. Very trying for everybody, I know, but we think that we are in a position where we can now open this up a little bit better. So thanks for that information, Sergeant Major, as always. We have a few questions that have come in already. One of the questions was about being able to use your rec badge to do some hiking on post, and absolutely, you are absolutely able to come on with a rec badge and use any MWR facility or go hiking, Weed Mountain, etc. We ask that you adhere to all our policies and our signage as far as what areas we would like you to stay out of, but you are absolutely free to come on and golf, use our bowling alley, go hiking, as long as you're doing it safely in a good manner, and we know that you're here using that rec badge. So, Sergeant Major, you didn't talk about your Bluff podcast, so I'm going to ask you what's coming on next for you.
Well, sir, for the Bluff podcast, the next show that you're going to see is Captain Wilson talking about the AER program. So again, a little shout out for the AER. If you haven't donated, by all means, help us out and helping soldiers continue to donate to AER, and that's just a little something to continue to help in a certain capacity. It could be a one-time gift donation, or it could set up an allotment to continue to help out. But you'll hear Captain Wilson and I talk a little bit about the AER program. And more to follow on that. We'll have a lot of guests out there, and if you're interested or know somebody that should be on the podcast, by all means, send me an email or a phone call, and we can see if we can schedule someone on the podcast too as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Sergeant Major. Great information. Absolutely, we appreciate all the support with AAR. As a commander, I have used this in the past to give money to absolutely needing soldiers, and we appreciate all the donations and from everybody that is out there. We have some questions, more questions come in. We always appreciate those. Aquatic Center. Right now, we're taking a hard look at what we've reopened in the past and where we're using our staff to keep our staff safe and to open up as many services as we possibly can. While we're continuing to look at this, right now we don't see the Aquatic Center opening up just quite yet. Some of it is a financial issue and some of it is a staff issue. So we don't think we quite have the right amount of people in place to do this. We're using them in other areas, and so this would take some shuffling on our part that we just aren't able to do quite yet. I know there's been a lot of issues with us finally opening up Gate 3, and while we appreciate your patience down there, we also appreciate the patience of those people that are now going to be a little bit burdened by closing down Gate 8 to being 24/7. We have the statistics, though, that show that only a handful of people were coming in before 5:30, so that's kind of why the decision was made. We understand that now it might be but a little bit more of a burden on you if you have to come in before 5:30, that Gate 9 will be the only gate open for you to come in. But just realize that we're trying to service the most amount of people as we possibly can, and that right now that means Gate 3 opening back up Monday morning. So a few more questions that have come in. When are we bringing NASA sports back? And while that's a great question, it's also a great question to ask NASA. But being the coordinator on post, we have reached out to NASA to see what they have to answer that question. And what they've come back to us with is they're currently considered stage 3 due to COVID. In stage 3, only mission critical employees are allowed on the installation. And that means the sports program are not going to return anytime soon. As soon as we hear from the Marshal that the status has changed, we will absolutely pass that information along to you to keep you updated on anything. Right now, it doesn't look like NASA Sports is going to come back anytime soon. Okay, the next question is, I work on the Arsenal. Is there a mailing list available for notifications based on gate closing, severe weather events, base clothings, etc.? This is a great segue for me. Right now we don't have a mailing distro list. We ask that you use Digital Garrison. That's our app that we absolutely update on a daily basis if needed, as far as our gate closings, as far as the base closing, as far as any information you want to know about AFES. And so we ask that you take a look at that Digital Garrison app. You can download it, whether you're a Samsung user, an iPad user, iPhone user. Absolutely, you should see right now an app up that how to download it. And basically you can scan that barcode and you can download that app and use Digital Garrison, and it will keep you updated on everything you need to. Another way to get information is using this Team Redstone social media webpage. We absolutely update with everything. If we have a base closing or a noise alert or other thing, we will absolutely, Team Redstone does a great job in updating the social media website. If your organization needs to submit any notifications, absolutely send them over to the Garrison IEOC and the Public Affairs Office, and we will post that for you. But please keep it to anything Garrison related, as we will not post anything commercial related. The next question we had, are food trucks coming back? Food trucks are back. Marshall Space Flight Center organizes a lot of the food trucks on Redstone Arsenal, and they have a corral down at the end of Rideout Road. So they absolutely every day have a food corral down there, and they are offering that to the food vendors that want to on a rotational basis. So as we start to see more employees coming back on the Arsenal, we will absolutely continue those food trucks will probably grow, and more of them will be available to you in your location. Okay, I think we have a few more questions. Those were the pre-posed questions that we had, and we appreciate those as always. Let's see here.
Sir, as you're looking into that, a couple little bullets that I want to push out. I know you talked about the pool opening up. He or Derek, our MWR director, wanted me to put out that the pool will be opening on the 29th of May. Pricing will be adjusted just slightly, so be on the lookout on the MWR website for that information. And he also wanted me to talk about saving the date for the 25th annual Oktoberfest, 16 through 19 September, that they're working to ensure that we could probably bring back. So save that date as we look into more things coming back. Just to talk about the food trucks, sir, like you said, they are out there. And then we also mentioned the safer apart order. I just want to remind everybody that on the installation, we're still following the DOD masking procedures. So let's make sure that we're still following that DOD order. The safer apart order applies to everything outside the gate. Other than that, sir, back over to you.
Yeah, thanks. That's one of the questions you just answered for us. Is even though Alabama is going to going away from the safer at home order, we are still a DOD installation, and we will follow DOD guidance until they lift that masking order. One of the questions we had was about vaccines and the number that are being done on a daily basis. And I'm going to turn this back over to Colonel Cardenas to talk about that a little bit. But really, just realize that we're limited on what we can say about the number of vaccines going out. Bob, back over to you, please.
Thanks, Glenn. Again, thank you for the question. And again, I respect your patience as specific numbers on every installation, vaccines given, vaccines received, vaccine shipments, future amounts, future dates. They're all deemed sensitive information solely for the senior mission commanders and or Garrison leadership to make tactical decisions and in support of the beneficiary population. I will just tell you that in the last 3 weeks, we have more than doubled our appointments, and in the next few weeks, I'm looking to try to add more. Again, just be mindful that just like we can repurpose folks that were non-necessarily or not your primary care providers in the nurses. So as people are moving them away from the screening duty and making them available, some of them are actually authorized to give vaccinations, so that will help. Additionally, our regional medical headquarters, Region Atlantic, has 17 military treatment facilities all over the East Coast, and we requested essentially support in terms of medics or licensed practical nurses, enlisted soldiers to help us, and we can potentially expand our hours towards the end of the duty day. And I just ask you to be mindful that every vaccination we give has to be charted and documented. So when we do stop vaccinations for a day, those same nurses and clinicians have to go back and they're doing updates in your medical records for the next couple of hours, and that's what's being done at the end of the duty day. Again, if you're familiar with Redstone or not, fortunately we don't have a pool of units assigned here where the garrison commander, the senior mission commander can task a platoon of medics or a medical platoon, for example, to come assist us. So that's why we went out and asked for that assistance. And when that happens, we will definitely ensure that we let everyone know through our Facebook page. Again, I want to remind you that that's where we can tailor our messaging to you, specifically our community, because the DHA, the Defense Health Agency, a website going to tricare.mil. None of the Army facilities have the latitude to personalize their sites anymore on that side, so we're using our social media, and we'll definitely leverage the Garrison's assistance through PAO, the app that you just saw, Team Redstone, as well as AMC support if we need it to get the word out to everybody. So please just check our Facebook page for Fox so we can get you that information. There was a question, I'm sorry, thank you, sir. There was a question, I remember, and I got a few last week about the criteria or the eligibility. I just want to remind you that when the Department of Defense created the criteria for eligibility, DA civilians were included. You don't have to be enrolled at Fox. You could, but you also have to be on the unit's mission essential list, which was provided by the unit. I wasn't decided by myself or any other clinical MTF commander. And if you're not on their list, unfortunately, that ability has been paused right now by headquarters DA. It has been for about a month. No senior mission commander installation is supposed to be adding to it as the services try to gain a handle on what they need to do, what saturation as far as vaccinations at every installation is required, so that way we can move into eventually phase 2, it's just for everybody. So those were decisions made by the units back in late January. They had about 2-3 weeks to review it, and then when we received it, that's when we started echeloning the appointments to those personnel that were on the list. So, but the eligibility is there. And again, contractors as well. That decision there's an exception to policy to determine if it being considered at headquarters DA level to decide if those that don't have a immunization authorization in their parent contract, if that would not preclude them from being eligible for the vaccine. But right now, they have to have that flu authorization in the parent contract with the Department of Defense. Thank you. Glenn?
Yeah, thanks, Colonel Cardenas. Appreciate the information, as always. The question we had, one of the comments was, is Digital Garrison replacing Alert? And no. If you're a worker on Redstone Arsenal and you get emails and you've signed up for the Alert, you will absolutely continue to get alert messages coming through your email for the messaging. But for those people that don't have a DoD email, Alert is not an option. So we ask that you use Digital Garrison and absolutely get the information, or use this Team Redstone Facebook website. Always good information. So with that, I think that I'm running out of questions here. If you've got another question, by all means, get it in. We have announced that we're going to open up the summer pool, the one on Goss Road. We're going to open it up probably Memorial Day. More to follow on that. With that, Sergeant Major, unless you have something else.
Well, sir, just like always, we're a little bit past the halfway point, so I want to say give me a thumbs up to everybody out there, so I know that you're alive and well, and understand that we're hearing you like you're hearing us. So give me a thumbs up to everybody out there. And I just kind of want to echo what you talk about, and that's, we have so many venue platforms to pass out information. We want to make sure that our community, our workforce, everybody on Redstone is getting the latest and greatest information to have an understanding, just like we do. As soon as we get something, you guys are aware of what's happening on the installation. So other than that, sir, I mean, I know Exchange is doing some stuff, MWR, DECA, I mean, you name it. There's a lot of things out there. Tune into their websites, to our websites, to get the latest information, and just vote with your feet, like we like to say, and come out and be safe, put on your mask, but come and utilize some of our resources that we've brought back.
Yeah, we would love to have you for our Sharp 5K run later on this month,
28th, sir?
Yep, 28th. And that's going to be at 6:30 in the morning. And if you can't run, by all means, come out and walk. But we hope to see you then and meet you then. Would love to have you. And as always, we always appreciate the questions you give us. This gives us a venue to talk to you, and always we appreciate your support and with those questions and the answers we can provide you. Hopefully we're getting this is worthwhile for you, as well as worthwhile for us to give you any changes we've got coming on the arsenal. as always, we're looking at everything service-wise that we provide on the arsenal, and we will absolutely do the coordination with all the other tenants out. And we always appreciate Colonel Cardenas coming in and giving us an update. So thank you again, Bob. Thank you to Mr. Rob Thomas, who always comes in and gives us ops update. So I appreciate that, Ron. With that, unless I can see any more questions, I'm going to sign off for today. Thank you very much, everybody. Stay safe.